Any guesses as to what drink I'm holding in my hand? My new obsession? Iced oat vanilla matcha. Look at the bloody cups. How freaking cute is that? Hello, I'm back. I had the most amazing breakfast, as you would have seen. But there was so much, I could not finish all of that. But the price, I think it was like £13, like £16 for the pot of tea and that massive breakfast. So yeah, the price wise, very good. How freaking cute are the cups for the iced drinks? That's a bit of me, I tell you that. We're going to do a taste test because I fear that that first matcha I tried was so great that what if it's just not the same on my second time. So let's do a little taste test. I got an oat iced vanilla matcha. A lot of you said to try coconut milk. So I might have to give that a go, but I don't really like coconut milk. So, but I've heard that it's like completely different in a matcha. So, right, let's go. Oh no, that is unbelievable. I really want James to try this because I think he'll love it. That is so good. Yeah, I went to Cafe Lounge, it's called. So if you live in the Kent area, I'm sure they have a few like dotted about. So highly recommend going there. They do like cocktails and things as well. I don't know if that's like all day, but definitely I imagine like later on towards the evening. But yeah, that matcha was unbelievable. But we're just gonna head home now, and then what I thought was I might do a little book review for you of a few of the books that I've read this year, because I know I love watching book reviews, and before I start a book or if I'm looking for a new book, I always go to YouTube to watch other people's book reviews. I think it saves you so much time, you know, the ratings and everything from other people, so that you don't start a book and it's just like a complete waste of time. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's go. So we are back from brunch, and as promised, I'm going to do a short book review of a few of the books that I've read recently. I know for me, when I'm looking for a new book to read, I go to book reviews straight away and watch other people give their opinions on books. Just going to pop my tea down, grab a cup of tea if you haven't already. Yeah, I know that I like a book review. Sometimes it takes reading a whole book or a whole series to really know if you like it or not. So I'm not going to give a rating on how many stars I rate these books. I just think because people like books for a lot of different reasons. So if I give a book a rating of 5, somebody else might think, oh god, they read it and they think, no, this is terrible. So I'm not going to give a rating. I'm just going to give a short, brief opinion on the books that I've read recently. Okay, just before I get into it, a few of the books that I've read, I don't have the physical copy because I read it on the Kindle. And I just wanted to show you the Kindle that I use. It's in the matcha green colour and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's 16 gigabyte and it's their most lightest and compact Kindle that they have. So it's so lightweight and small. It's perfect. Everybody asks me, is it worth getting a Kindle because they love having a physical book? Don't get me wrong, I love having a physical book. The reason that I've got this is because where I travel so much for work, carrying books around, especially the big chunky hefty series books, it's just too much. I don't have the space for it. And also where I'm living at my family home still, I don't have the space to keep buying physical books, and I have nowhere to store it. So, and I have to end up getting rid of them or, you know, giving them to charity and stuff, which I absolutely do if I don't need them. But yeah, it will be great when I have my own place and I can have a book corner, book reading corner with all the books in the shelves. But for now, this is great. It's also great for when I'm on set acting, because sometimes when I'm in the studio or if I'm on location, I'm in a dark room or things like that. So yeah, I can't always read a physical book because I just can't see the pages. So this is where the Kindle comes in. I do highly recommend the Kindle. Even if you do love a physical book, these are great. Like, they are just brilliant. Especially, again, like I said, if you want to buy a whole series of books but have no space to put it, you can just get them all on your Kindle and it's all there. So yeah, definitely recommend that. So let's get into it. I've been prepared and I've written some notes, just so I know what I'm talking about, basically. Okay, so this book I don't have a physical copy of, so I'm going to pop it up here for you to have a look. It's called The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Genre, I would say it's magical realism with romance, and it is about a girl who, I don't want to speak too much about what it's about, because if that makes sense, because I don't want to give anything away. But it follows the story of a girl who has lost her aunt, and she moves into her flat, basically, where she meets a guy who is actually living in her aunt's flat, but 7 years ago, if that makes sense. I found that the love element is so genuine in this book, and the touch of magical realism has just been done so well that it didn't seem too unrealistic. It's an easy read and I didn't want it to end, basically, so that's always good. And there is a few plot holes at the beginning of the book, but keep reading because they all get answered at the end, and yeah, it all gets explained. The time travel element of the book was done really well. It was written very, very well. And it also touches on personal growth with the main character, romance, and also grief it touches on. So I really liked the 3 different elements in that as well. It wasn't too difficult to follow. So yeah, if that's a little bit what you're worried about, then yeah, I would say it's absolutely fine. And I managed to follow along just fine. This book was such an easy read. I think I finished it within like a few days. It was really, really good. And if you're wanting just that sort of easy, light romance type book, then yeah, this is perfect for you. Okay, the next books. Need I say what they are and who writes them? But, because they've been so popular, but I'm going to anyway. So, the Housemaid series by Freida McFadden. These were recommended to me by a friend who had read them, and I'd never read Freida McFadden before, so it was my first books of hers. She writes amazingly. I will say a lot of her books are written very much the same way, but you know, that's just an author's style of writing, isn't it? I would say it's a thriller romance, and the order I read them in, even though all of the books, they are standalone books, so you could read them in any order, it didn't matter. However, the Housemaid book was essentially first, and it does introduce you to the main character. The books follow the same character, Millie, throughout all of it, so I would recommend reading just the Housemaid first, just because it introduces her, it gives her background, but you can read them separately because they follow her but all different stories. So yeah, the Housemaid's Watching, and the Housemaid's Secret. That's the order that I read them in, and I would say I recommend reading them in that order. These books are a really easy read. If you are looking for that easy read on holiday, or you know, if you're traveling or whatever, you just want a coffee shop book, yes, these are so easy to read. They can be read, I think, within a few days each one, which is great. We love that. Each book has so many different twists, turns, there's love in it, there's a bit of spice in it, what else? Yeah, like thrillery, bit of like crime. It only touches upon that, but yeah. I will say what I've heard from quite a few people is that some of the twists were predictable, which I did find a little bit, but I guess you never know in a book. Like you might be spot on and predict it, but you might not. So I guess it's just each to their own. But yeah, I wouldn't say they were the most difficult to work out what was going on or what was going to happen, but still there were some things that I had no idea about and I got completely wrong and didn't even think that was going to be the outcome. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on them ones. I know there's a lot of controversy about whether people have liked them or not, but I love them. And they're also bringing out the film soon. I believe it's got Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried in it, so I'm going to be watching that, and I really hope the film does the books justice, which I'm sure it will. Okay, the next book that I read recently, and it's the most recent book that I've just finished. I don't have the physical copy because I read it on the Kindle, but I'm going to pop it here again. It's The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm really sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This book, again, was recommended to me by a friend, and she said, absolutely amazing book. Like, yeah, one of the best books she's read. A lot of people read this quite a long time ago, so I was fairly new to reading this book. My opinions. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I loved the ending. I did find that the middle part of the book was quite slow, but the ending, I didn't predict that at all. Well, I know that some people have predicted that ending, but I didn't predict it at all. I did not think that was going to be the ending. So I was really pleased that I enjoyed the ending, because I did find the middle portion of the book fairly slow. Like, I didn't feel like much was happening, but I know that it was pretty much just setting the scene for the ending. Again, this was a really easy read. I read this on holiday and I finished it just when I got back. I wouldn't say it's been my favourite book that I've read, but I would say the ending, I couldn't put the book down. Like, I was like, oh my God, I need to know what happens. So that's always a good sign when reading a book. But I do still really recommend it because it was such an easy book to read. It was it does sort of go into mental health topics and issues. So if that is something that would trigger you or anything like that, then maybe don't read this book. But yeah, I did think it was really good. Okay, the next book that I read, again on Kindle, was Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm going to pop it here so you can see what it looks like. This is about a lady called Loan who is hired to finish off a really famous author's books. Because basically something happens in the author in this book's life, which means that she becomes basically incapable of finishing these books off. You'll find all this out if you read the books, but I don't want to give anything away. Loan has to go and stay at this author's house, and a lot of things happen here. You basically get 2 books in one kind of thing, because the author has kind of written an autobiography about everything that's gone on. So you read about that whilst following along to present day as well. And again, I think with this book, you kind of question, like, has this really happened that way? Is this author just really good at manipulating a story? If so, which story is she manipulating? I thought it was brilliant. Again, a really easy read. I know there's controversial opinions on this book, but I really enjoyed Verity. Things happen in that house between the people living in the house, which again, I was like, there is a bit of spice in it, just slightly. And a bit of tension. I really liked the build-up of this book. The final book collection that I'm going to be talking about is the Chestnut Springs. I have just started the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. I'm reading it on my Kindle, but I'm going to pop up the books here so you can just see what they look like. I'm reading Flawless first, which I think is the correct order to read them in. But already I am hooked. I'm absolutely hooked. I'm just going to show you on here which one I'm reading. So it's this one here, Flawless by Elsie Silver. Yeah, it follows the story, I believe, of the Eaton family. So I think each book follows a different brother. So yeah, Flawless is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series, and it's a small town romance. I think there's spicy, steamy scenes in there if that's what you like. It's about one of the Eaton brothers, and he is a professional bull rider. So if you love cowboys, bull rider, that type of vibe, then you'll love this book. And it's about his PR agent. I'm not going to say any more than that because I don't want to give away any spoilers. I'm literally one chapter in and I'm already hooked on this. I know I'm going to absolutely love it, and I hope that I love the rest of the books as well. A friend of mine has just read them and said obsessed. So yeah, if you've read them, don't tell me anything, but just tell me which has been your favourite book in that series. I think that's going to be my September, October, autumn series to really get involved with. If anybody else has got any book recommendations for this time of year, I know everyone is probably on a bit of a fantasy hype at the moment, given it's autumn soon and Halloween and vampires and ghosts and all of that come alive. So yeah, if anybody has any recommendations of books that I can put on my reading to-do list, then please let me know in the comments below. I hope that this little book review has given you a little bit of insight into a few of the books that I've read. And I hope it helps you decide on your next book if you haven't read these. Again, if you're up for reading the Chestnut Springs series, then I'm currently reading it too, so we can read it together and talk about it together. So that would be great. And if you do love all things books, wholesome, autumn, cozy vibes, then please give my channel a follow. I post as much as I can. Obviously, I have quite a busy job with acting, so I'm a bit here, there and everywhere, but I do try and post as regular as I can. Also, go and have a watch of my previous vlogs. They have the same similar vibes. I'm probably going to leave this part of the vlog here today. I'm not doing much else today. I have to drive home because I'm currently at my partner's house. I've got to drive home, and tomorrow I've got to get my car fixed because I've got a crack in the windscreen. So that's not fun. Not fun for anyone, but it's got to be done. So I'm doing that tomorrow. Honestly, anything car related, I'm just a girl and I hate it because I don't know anything about cars. So as soon as something goes wrong with my car, I freak out basically. So I'm getting that done as soon as possible. Wish me luck. Hopefully it's just a quick fix. Also, I don't know if this is just like a really intrusive thought or not. Maybe it's actually quite plausible because I've got the crack in the windscreen. Like honestly, every time I'm driving it, and I've only had the crack for like a few days, a week max I think, but I just get this intrusive thought, like what if all of a sudden the windscreen just goes and just everything just smashes, and wish me luck on the drive home, okay? If you like this and you like book recommendations, please let me know in the comments below because I will continue to do it. Have a lovely rest of your day.